How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host, Cody Potter. We're going to go over this Patriots game today, man. It was kind of ugly. Not going to beat it up too bad. I'm going to kind of show a couple little clips and then go over this game. But the biggest thing for me is dude, it was a sloppy game, man. I mean, we started the game off Trevion Henderson, player I'm super high on, returned the kickoff for 100 yards. That's how you start the game. It's a bad way to start the game. A couple things I do want to get to before I even really talk about this is, man, if JD5's on the field, we had our second and third team players against their first team players to start this game. A bunch of players that I wanted to see popped. But we still lost by 30 points, man. But as a fan, it's going to bother you. But you gotta think about it for what it really is. We had our second and third team against their first team and second team and then third team. It would like every level of our team was playing up to a different higher level of their team. I promise you, like this, if you watch this game and you really think about how the game started. After our first two drives, after the turnover from Drake May, I promise you, we are looking at 14-7. If JD5 is on that field. Just by the throws and the catches that were dropped by the wide receivers and the quarterback play with Sam Hartman. Not going to knock Sam Hartman for the game, but I'm just telling you it's a very different football game if JD5 and the starters are on the field. We had 30 players not playing. So I'm not going to overreact to this, but I am going to get into something because it is something that I really preach a lot, is the depth of this team. You didn't have 30 players play. You were looking for players to elevate themselves against a team that was playing their starters and things like that. Mike Vrabel always does it. Hats off to them. The biggest thing on this team is depth. The value of the draft picks, man. When you miss draft picks under a previous regime, the way that Ron Rivera did, I mean, realistically, I think, what do we have left from Ron Rivera? I think we have Sam Cosmi, who is a really good player for us, probably his best draft pick overall, and Quan Martin, which I think is very close to the same neighborhood of what Sam Cosmi is. I would rate them guys both pretty similar. I think moving ahead for this team, I think Quan Martin is going to be a very good player for this team. Same thing with Sam Cosmi. As we get to this, man. This is what happens when you miss on draft picks. You do not have the depth overall in this team, man. The fourth, the fifth rounders, these guys, we don't have a collection of these guys. They're all gone from the Ron Rivera era. So we're pretty much developing. This is why you hear me talk so much about Jerzon Newton and Ben Sinnott and guys that we drafted last year. Last year we had a haul. We had about 10 or 11 picks. We have some undrafted free agents from last year, like Tyler Owens and guys like that I keep mentioning on this podcast. I'm mentioning all these guys because for years we have missed on draft picks. That is why this team is an older team. This is why this team is built around veterans and things like that. It's really getting complicated for us to really build a roster. So when you hit on JD5, you had to make trades. You had to make the Latimer trade. You had to make the Tunsil trade. You had to make the Debo trade. Not because you don't want to use those picks and solidify this team long term, but because right now you got to compete. So you have to maximize the value of each pick. And I agree with the trades that you made, but you cannot continue to keep trading for veterans or you're really going to start hindering this team long term because you need to start hitting on these draft picks. You need to develop these draft picks long term. That's what this game was about. So when you think about the names that I continue to talk about on this pod that are so critical for this team moving forward and the success for this team long term, the Jerzon Newtons, the Amoses, the Ben Sinnotts, the guys like that, the Luke McCaffreys and things like that, these guys are even more critical for this team moving forward is because we haven't been hitting on draft picks before Dan Quinn and AP got here. So again, that's why it gets a little bit repetitive for us. That's why I keep talking about the same names, but that's another reason why I'm going to highlight the players that I'm going to highlight today. We saw Johnny Newton in that clip. He had the little sack fumble on Drake May. Drake May kind of let the ball go out of his hands as he was trying to make a play before he went down to the ground. We saw Jerzon Newton on a stunt, man. He looks explosive. It was a very good play for him. Those are the type of things you want to see. I think he brings that from the interior position. I think he has the athleticism to line up outside. But again, we're still lacking that edge rusher thing. That's the reason that I've highlighted edge rusher and linebacker repeatedly on this show. I'm going to continue to do it all season long. These are the two positions that I feel like are going to be the strength of the draft. The strength of the draft is meeting our needs. I'm going to continue to talk about these guys, the Whit Weeks and the Derek Moores and TJ Parkers and all these guys from this upcoming draft class is because these guys really, really are going to fit a position of need. They're going to be a strength position of this draft. So you're really, really looking for some top end talent from these positions because, yes, you do have 2 top 10 linebackers in this league, I believe, on tape, Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner is 30-some years old, man. He's getting older. How long can he do it? He is the ageless wonder right now. London Fletcher did it for this team for a long time, but you have to start thinking long term. And when you have a draft class that's looking like this, you're going to scout, you're going to find your guy. If you get that value where it links up with your pick in that draft, you want to pick that player because long term we need youth at the linebacker position. It is still a critical position for this defense. We saw it yesterday where K. Madrano was missing some gaps. We saw that Dominique Hampton, a draft pick from last year, a later round pick. These guys just need time. They need time on the field, man. These reps were very, very valuable for them because you could tell that they were out of position. You can tell that they do not play with the instinctual ability that veterans and long-term guys play with because both of these guys have played different positions in college. So they're like Dominique Hampton was a safety. Cam Madrano was a wide receiver. Both of them have only been in this system for a year now, like working on a year. Now we're talking about them guys trying to elevate play against starters. They're going to miss some gaps. They're going to miss some assignments. There's a lot of coaching tape that you're going to learn from this game. The coaches are probably not upset. They're probably a little bit upset with how we played overall in this game, but there are some things to take away from it that were positive. And, it is what it is. That's what you're looking for this time of the year. You don't play 30 players on this team and they're your first and second round. They're your first and second string players at certain positions that you're not worried about. Well, and they played their starters. Trust me, dude. Yes, you want to play up to them, but you're going to make some mistakes, man. Like these units are together for a reason. Their starters have been together for a reason. Our third string players going against starters, yes, man, let's see what they do. And there were flashes. There were good things. There are other things that I'm going to get into real quick that I wanted to talk to that are very, very positives for me because this is somebody that I'm really, really high on for this team. I was high on the pick. I was glad that we made the pick. Our first round pick, Josh Connolly, man. The clips I'm going to show you, man, these are just individual breakdowns for him, for his pass reps, his run blocking. He shows all the traits, man. Athletic ability. They were talking about him in camp, working on techniques and things like that he was struggling with. That's what camp is for, man. You're trying to refine the techniques, get him ready for the season. He did play. One of the few starters that actually played today. And the starters that did play in this game, they're all young. They're all draft picks. They're all the ones that we've been talking about. They're the ones that we've been highlighting on this podcast because you need these guys to step up. Again, missing on the draft picks that you have under Ron Rivera, you need these guys to pan out because the draft pick is the lifeblood of this organization. So Josh Connolly did very, very good, man. Held his gaps, saw the athleticism, got to the second level in run blocks. Ja'Cory Cross-Gamer's biggest run of the game, man, was a big play by Josh Connolly coming on an inside pull, hitting the second level, finding the open space, and then giving the breakaway run. It was a 10-yard run, but he still was the guy on the second level that made that extra yards come from the first contact that Ja'Cory Cross-Gamer gave himself. So again, man, the game was not all bad. You saw what you wanted to see from the players that you wanted to see it from. I had highlighted going into the game Ben Sanat. Ben Sanat had a catch, had a play where Sam Hartman kind of missed him, where he was kind of going up the seam, and then he was stopping. Sam Hartman kind of led him, was going to lead him into contact. That's not what you want to see on that type of play. You want to see the quarterback hit him in that gap, give him a chance to maybe turn and run the other way. He threw him into contact. It was ultimately an incompletion, but Sam Hartman did not play his best game. He was not seeing the field properly. He had a little bit of happy feet. You could tell he was playing with some nerves. And then honestly, outside of just playing with the nerves, the couple times that he did play from within rhythm in the game and had some really good throws, the wide receivers didn't do him any favors. So again, this is what happens when you kill your own momentum in game, man. You got to be able to hit these plays, man. When you just keep going 3 and out, it's hard to get momentum. But again, what we did see from the players that we wanted to see it that are going to have an impact on this football team for this year, we got to see it from Ja'Cory Cross-Gamer, Bill. I'm still getting used to that, calling him Bill. Trey Amos, Ja'Cory Brooks actually played pretty good, man. This is almost basically a cut up for Josh Connolly and Ja'Cory Cross-Gamer that you're going to see on this because of the run blocks, the pass sets, things like that. The few good plays that we did have with against their first and second team. Again, it's preseason. Let's not jump off the cliff. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get over ourselves. It was a 30-point loss. Our special teams looked really, really horrible. You could say holding. I'm not gonna, dude. You don't blame the refs. You want to blame the refs? Beat the refs. Like if you got to beat them fuckers too, you got to beat them too. Otherwise, execute. And we didn't execute today. I don't care if they had a hold, on the Trevion Henderson touchdown. I don't care. Like if Antonio Gibson, if there was a hold cutting back on that kickoff, I don't care. Beat the refs too. Beat the scheme. Like beat everything that you gotta do. If you execute, you're not gonna get these things. Or the holding's gonna be so blatantly obvious that the referees have to call it. So again, this was a sloppy game from top to bottom. Special teams, whatever. You can talk about holding. You can talk about this or that in the third. Ultimately, we didn't execute. And if you're not going to execute, then honestly, you have no chance of winning the game. It doesn't matter what the referees do. It doesn't matter what they miss. We couldn't even execute on third downs or anything like that. We were constantly off the field. We couldn't get them off the field. So again, execution. It's what it is. So again, we're gonna talk about this team, man. The wide receiver position, man. I did not get to see my boy Jalen Lane. I saw him open a couple times, but again, the quarterback play, the constant, just shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to momentum and things like that, we just couldn't capitalize. It wasn't a very, very good, pretty clean game. Things like that. Ja'Cory Brooks did look good when towards the end of the game when Josh Johnson was in the game. He had 5 catches, about 60 yards. Has a little bit of twitch to him for a guy that's 6'3", kind of skinny, but I think he is a guy that's starting to give the coaches a little bit to look at because Chris Moore didn't do himself any favors. A lot of these wide receivers just they're not elevating from themselves. I mean, you see guys making a couple plays, but they're all kind of looking generally the same. So really, outside of Deebo Samuel, outside of Jalen Lane, who didn't have an impact in this game, but I mean, you did see him running open. Fielded the ball cleanly on special teams, things like that. That's the things you want to see from him. Did break a couple tackles on special teams. Again, the special teams just overall wasn't good on any facet of the game. Missed field goals, that's another thing that we dealt with last year. Matt Gay, you bring him in, you sign him, you give him the most guaranteed money for a kicker, and here you go, he's just missing kicks. Meanwhile, you got Jacksonville making 70-yard field goals. Like I just don't understand. This is really just becoming kind of crazy at this point. That is one thing that is irritating me. There were 3 kickers in this draft that were draftable. I am very, very elated with the players that we got. So again, we're talking about drafting kickers, but honestly, man, there's young kickers in all sorts of leagues of football, man. Then you got the XFL, the USFL, the UFL, college football, man. Find a damn kicker. Stop getting these old kickers that can't make 50-plus yard field goals. We're the only team in the league I'm not going to say the only team in the league, but this field goal situation shit is really pissing me off. That is the one thing that I will not that's the one thing I will overreact on is the field goal kicking, man. Like, get your special teams cleaned up, man. That is the one facet of the game that you just gotta execute in, man. It's not. People don't think about special teams all the time, but special teams matter. When you are going out there to kick field goals and you miss them, it sucks. It's a hard thing to really live with. It's a hard thing to really swallow. So that has got to be corrected, man. I like watching a second year of this team struggle with special teams, and making field goals and giving up long kick returns, man. That's going to drive me absolutely crazy. And I promise you, man, I don't care how good Jaden Daniels is. I don't care how good the defense elevates. If that special team sucks this year, it's going to hold us back. It's going to be a problem. It will cost us in the biggest moments of the biggest games, and I promise you that is something this team cannot afford. So whatever they got to do to get it right, this is what the preseason is for. Tackling's got to get better on every facet of the game, from the defense to the special teams, and just gap assignments. And honestly, man, just doing your job. Some of the guys that I highlighted in the pregame post let me down. Some of the guys that I highlighted in the pregame post showed me that they do have the potential to make an impact on this field when we play better, when we play a little bit more in sync. And again, like I said, don't get over crazy with the outcome of the game, because if 5 was on the field, if we went starter for starter, I have a feeling that the game, maybe we don't even give up the kickoff to Trevion Henderson, but if we did give up the kickoff on that, our first 2 drives, I believe, end with 14 points with Jaden Daniels in the first team offense if we were going against their first team defense. So again, just don't get crazy with it. It was a bad game. the players that you wanted to see shine. Trey Amos shadowed very, very well. He's going to be a starter for this team. I highlighted Josh Connolly Jr. earlier. Showed you guys some clips. He's going to be a starter for this team. Ja'Cory Crosskey-Merritt, whether he is a starter or just a role player, he's going to play a role on this team. I really haven't talked about Tyler Owens. He was a guy that I highlighted, but he looked pretty good. He was a pretty solid tackler. I still think Will Harris gets that job ultimately starting, man. Will Harris is a savvy veteran. He plays very good in coverage, plays a very physical brand of football, and he's just a smart football player. So, again, like Tyler Owens is a chip that I'm looking for long term. He was an undrafted player. It would be a hell of a value if he does start for us at any point in the season. But, again, just temper the expectations. Is preseason. We're going to see our starters against the starters of the Bengals next week on Monday night. It's a primetime game. We'll get you guys some reports over the course of the week. I heard Ja'Cory Crosskey-Merritt had a little shoulder injury, went into the tent. They said he's going to be fine. I'd expect him to be fine. This is the thing that you worry about with preseason is you want to get out of there healthy. At least we did ultimately get out of there healthy. But for a player that you're looking forward to elevate the running game this year for this team, it's a reason I probably would not feature this guy. You want him to get the reps, you want him to whatever, but I think this guy shows that he has the ability. He shows it in camp. He's now showing it in preseason. The running back position is a very physical position. Get out healthy, man. You have enough backs between Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols, and guys that can have starting experience, that have played football in the NFL. Let them guys run you through the preseason. I think Bill is going to be just fine. I don't think I need to see anything more out of him. Get him into the season healthy. Same thing with B-Rob. Same thing with Austin Eckler. Those guys didn't play either. So, again, I think Bill has shown that he deserves to, at least to be the third running back on this team, whether he's starting or wherever he's playing in the role. So get him out of the season healthy. Again, I think you're going to see a lot more starters play against the Bengals. That's kind of the dress rehearsal game. You'll probably see a couple drives out of Jaden Daniels, maybe a quarter. I expect to see Deebo Samuel. You're going to see all the guys that didn't play. Do I need to see Bobby Wagner out there? No. Do I need to see Zach Ertz out there? No. But, I think Zach Ertz will play just because he really, really does enjoy. He has chemistry with Jaden Daniels. He's probably going to play. But you want a drive or two, get these guys in rhythm, get them just on the field, get them out healthy. That's all you really want to see. But, again, from the Patriots game, it was, hats off to Mike Vrabel, man. They played a physical brand of football. They unveiled the Tom Brady statue. They look good, all three phases. The players that they drafted that I kind of highlighted on this pod, Trevion Henderson, Will Campbell, man, they showed that they belonged. Will Campbell had a really, really good block in the first quarter that I saw him out there pulling on Noah Igbenogany. Again, the players that he brought in to bring a certain type of attitude to the team, to be leaders, you see it. Drake May and his mobility, you see it. You see the arm, pretty ball. Didn't hit on a couple plays, but when you saw him cork it, he put the ball where it needed to be. So we got a lot of good things are coming for the Patriots, man. They look good for the preseason, man. They did it really good against our second and third stringers. But again, you play who you play against, and they showed good again tonight. So again, thank you guys for checking out the pod. Like I said, don't overreact. It is what it is. It's preseason, unless it's the special teams overreact there. But other than that, man, I appreciate you guys checking out the pod, and we'll get you guys more this week as to what we're hearing, injuries, things like that. I expect, I'll kind of do a little matchup breakdown against the Bengals. I'll probably talk a little bit of other teams and things like that. College football's coming up, so we're going to have a lot more to do with that. And we'll get into it, man. So again, thank you guys for checking out the pod. Thank you guys for watching this video, and like, comment, subscribe. I'll answer any questions that you guys have, and what you guys think of the game. Personally, like I said, I want to be interactive with you guys. If you guys are watching, then just ask me questions, whatever. I'll put it on the next episode, and we'll continue like that. Thank you guys for checking us out. From the Blue Chip Podcast by Fans for Fans, your host, Cody Potter. We're out. Peace.